Hey y'all, can y'all hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen.
Okay.
Can you see my screen now? Do you see my Moodle training course?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
I was talking to you. I was just muted.
It is 2 o'clock. I didn't figure that we would have very many on this session right now, but it is recording, so people can go back and watch it, which I'm hoping that they will because this is some really cool material. I might just wait one more minute before we start, just in case somebody gets on a little bit later, and then we'll dive in.
Sounds good.
All right, I think we can go ahead and get started. Thank you guys for tuning in to the session this afternoon about branching scenarios. I'm really excited to show you guys what they are, give you a good introduction of them so that maybe you can use them on your own material and kind of make them your own after I give you guys an introduction. So what are branching scenarios? Well, branching scenarios are a form of H5P content, and we've done a couple of H5P seminars before. That is the interactive content that you can use inside Moodle to give your students interactive ways of learning and doing assignments and going through things. So we've done interactive videoing for H5P. I've sent out some Moodle tips about H5P, so I hope that you guys have heard that term before at least. Maybe you guys have used some H5P material. We do have people on campus who even use the branching scenarios, and they look pretty awesome. I've been able to see some people's branching scenarios that they've used, and it's really cool. And so that's why I wanted to make a workshop today about it and go into it for just a little bit about introducing you to it, and hopefully you can use it in your classroom. So like I said, this is a content type that allows you to use branches, and you'll see those branches in your course material. So you can make things like video scenarios, you can create dilemmas for your students that they can go through and work through. And it's great for adaptive learning and self-paced learning. And you'll see that whenever we dig in and I show you guys the branching scenarios in full. So they're fully interactive, they can be adaptive, they can be self-paced learning. And so it's pretty cool stuff. I'm gonna move this over to the side. And I really like branching scenarios because I think of them as Moodle lessons. So if you've ever done a Moodle lesson before, but they're a lot more interactive for the student and the teacher, definitely the teacher. You're able to really see every branch, every part of the content. Whereas on a Moodle lesson, you kind of just have to see it full out and you can move and interact with it, which I think is really great. You can create this content in a really quick way. And it's really awesome because you can copy other H5P material that you might have made before and paste it into this branching scenario. So if you already have interactive videos, if you already have course presentations that you've made, you can put them in these branching scenarios and then tie questions to them and branch them out into different things. So that's really cool. And I'll show you guys how to do that as well. So any questions about that before I dig into the course and start in on a branching scenario? I just feel like I need to show you guys what it is so you can see it hands-on. Okay, so before we do that, I'm gonna mute my phone, sorry. Okay, now we're good. So before I show you and get into the H5P, I want to show you guys the content bank first. So when H5P updated to the Moodle 3.9, it changed a little bit. So when you start a branching scenario, or really any H5P content, it's important to go to the content bank first. So normally whenever you create an activity, you would turn your editing on. And we've all done this before. You would click add an activity or a resource, and then you would choose your activity out of this list. And there is an option to create an H5P activity, but this isn't where you create the H5P content. So that's really important to remember. You go here to create your assignment. You go to the content bank, and it's always going to be over here to your left in the navigation bar. You go to your content bank to actually create that content. So we'll go through this, but I just wanted to remind you, when you start out, first and foremost, don't go to the activity, go to the content bank first. Okay, so when I go to that content bank, it's really handy because I can see things that I've already made. You can move things in and out. You can even make your content bank to where you can use it in other classes, which is really cool too. So that's why we're encouraging everybody to go to that content bank and put their H5P stuff in there, in the blue H5P. That's what I've been telling everybody. Okay. So let's move on. If you guys have questions about that after, feel free to ask me. I can dig into that even more because I know that can be kind of tricky to think about in your head. But just for future reference, always go to that content bank first. So I'm here on the front of my content bank, and I'm going to click add. And we're going to look for branching scenario. Again, guys, this H5P, there's so many options just scrolling through here that you can use in your course. It really is awesome. But like I said, we're going to go to the branching scenario. Okay, and here's where we're going to get started. I usually immediately make my screen fuller, and you can do that here. So this is the start of a branching scenario. We're going to look over here to the left, and I'm going to give this a title first. I'm going to call it BRTC because my branching scenario for you guys is going to be about Black River. And then we've got our first tab here, which is our info content, which is what we can add to the branching scenario. Right now, H5P gives you 6 different options to put inside a branching scenario. With newer versions of this, I've seen and read that they will try to extend the number of content types that you can put in the branching scenario, but for right now, you can put a course presentation. Of course, you can read through here a text, an image, a hotspot, which is really cool, an interactive video, and a video. For today, I'm going to put some video content in here. So my plan for my students is that I want them to watch short video clips, and then I'm going to test them over it. Depending on how they answer those questions will be how they branch out and go into different parts of the lesson. Okay, so I'll show you guys what I mean. I'm going to drag and drop, and you always drag and drop these into the branching scenario. So I want to do a video. I'm going to drag it over and drop it in, and you can see the color there changed on that box. So it's showing me that it knows I want to drop it in there. Okay. So this might look a little familiar to you if you've ever done an H5P content type before, because it looks exactly how you would put an H5P video in. So my video sources, I'm going to click this box, and I'm ready to paste a YouTube link or upload a file of my own. So I have a YouTube link ready, and I'm going to get that real quick. I just copied the link, and I've got it pasted in here. And I'm going to click insert. Now there's some settings that you can choose here too. The way that they see it, the playback settings in there, and the accessibility for them as well. So I'm going to click done. Now I'm going to stop here and say, when you're making a branching scenario, I think, now this is just my personal opinion, and if you do one of these and you see that you feel it's easier a different way, definitely let me know. I think it's easiest to put all of your content in there first. So for instance, with this branching scenario, I know that I want my students to watch a video about the mascot. I want them to watch a video saying what the mascot name is, and I want them to watch a video about our CTC programs. Okay, those are the three things that I want to show them in this. So I'm going to put that in there first. So I have another video. I'm going to drag it. I'm going to drop it in. And you can see how the branches are starting. So let me go get the YouTube link. Stop me at any time if this doesn't make sense. Copying. And I'm pasting that on there as a YouTube video. Insert. And I want to make sure I name these. I didn't name the other one, so I'm going to go back and name them because now I can see that that one is Striker. You might get confused if you have a bunch of them just saying untitled videos, so you might name your videos. Okay, so I've got my mascot video, I've got the video about Striker, and I want to do one more video, so I'm going to drag it and drop it again. I'm going to grab that on YouTube real quick. Paste it in there, insert, and I'm done. So that's the three videos that I want. You can do as many as you want to. I've seen several lined up here. Okay, but now I'm ready to start my branching questions. So remember, you don't have to just do videos. If you have an interactive video that you want to drop in, perfect. You can add questions in there too. So keep that in mind. If you want to do a question in the interactive video and then do your branching after that. So again, we're going to be dragging and dropping our branching content. Drag it in, and now I can see more boxes with the little cross telling me where I can put it. And I want to put my first branch here in between the mascot video and the Striker video. So I dropped it. This is going to be my first question, so I'm going to name it Q1, and I want it to say new BRTC mascot is a, of course we know it's the Black Hawk. I'm gonna just put in some random alternatives. I don't know, what's another one, alligator? Okay. So these are my three options that I'm gonna give the students. Here's where I'm gonna choose where they're gonna go. Branching options show up underneath each alternative. Black Hawk is the correct answer. So if they selected the Black Hawk, they're going to jump to another branch. And here's where you click the branch you want them to go to. I want them to jump to the next video, which is the Striker video. Okay. Here you can give feedback, which I think is a great thing to do because if you don't give them feedback, it's going to shoot them either backward or forward. Sometimes it can be a little confusing. So I'm going to say, great job. Move to the next scenario. We'll just say scenario right now. Okay, so this alternative is incorrect. So we are going to have them jump to another branch, but I want them to jump back up to the original video. I want them to watch it again. Okay, feedback, I'm going to say incorrect. Try again. And I want it to say that for the third option too. I'm going to copy it. Here's my third option. The alligator is not correct. We're going to jump them to another branch and we want them to go back up to the mascot video and watch it again. Okay, so we're done. Now we can see the branches in the scenario and how it's really starting. So the new BRTC mascot is A. My question, the answer to the question is the Black Hawk. And it's going to go to the next video. We can see our little icon here that shows that they're reverting back to the top. There. Okay, let's try one more. I want another branching scenario to go after Striker. Question 2. The new BRTC mascot is named Striker. I don't remember what I decided earlier, hockey, and then I don't know, talent, I think that was one of them, I don't remember. Okay, so again, this is the correct branch. Okay. And this time I'm actually going to end the scenario. So it's giving me a thing asking if I want to delete what's underneath it, and I do, because earlier I did want to delete it. So now I want to end the scenario. That's all I wanted them to do. I wanted them to answer those 2 questions, and now they're finished. I can customize it, which like I said, I think is a really good idea. Okay. Or we've got branching. And the thing is, you can jump them back up to the very beginning. So I can either choose to take them to the striker video, which is what they just watched, or I can jump them back up to the mascot video. I want them to go straight back to the beginning. I'm going to tell them to incorrect, start over. Copy that, and I'm going to make it the same thing for the third option as well. So jumping to another branch, I'm choosing the very first video, and I'm giving them the same feedback. Done. So now I have an icon showing me that red flag means they're finished. This icon means that they're going to revert back. Okay, so let's preview this, see how it looks. I have my video ready to play. Again, this is something that you could automatically have playing in the settings. Here I have my students required to click to play. So proceed. I'm going to do the wrong answer. Incorrect. Please try again. Trying again, and Black Hawk. Here's the next video. I'm playing it. Proceed. Incorrect, start over, and now I'm back to the very beginning. Let's try it again. I have to answer the first question again. Here's the second video, and this time I'm going to answer correctly. Striker. Okay, so that's the end. I'm going to go back to the edit up here at the top. And this is what our branch looks like. You can drag around because sometimes these can go all the way down the screen. So you can zoom in and out here, which I think is really awesome. Another thing that's really cool that I mentioned earlier is the copy and paste option. So if you already have material in your Moodle course, which I'm going to show you, I have another tab open. I'm going to open up a Moodle course, and I'm going to my content bank. Let's say that I want to add this interactive video. I already have it finished. I already have questions in it, and I want to put it in this branching scenario. So I'm going to click on it. It's very easy. Click edit up here at the right top, and then simply click copy right here. So I've copied that into the clipboard. It's going to remember it. Going back to my branching scenario, and now I'm going to drag this option, the paste option. Okay, so let's decide after they watch the mascot video, I'm going to put it, or actually let me put it at the very beginning. This is the very first thing I want them to see. Okay, so it was called interactive video. It saves everything, all the steps, done. So it's automatically in there. If I want to add a branching scenario question in there, I can. Or if I want to add something else in there, I can. Now, some things to note, some really cool things about this is when you give them a question, and I'll just go to this last question and I'll go into the edit options. These alternatives can all have different destinations. So I know Jessica Stout, you're on here. So think about with math. If you have 3 different options and you know the first option, okay, that one's correct, continue on. If they choose the second option, then you see, a lot of times, you know, with math, you would know maybe what they did wrong to get that answer. You can jump them to a different video. And then the third option, you could jump them to a completely different video. Okay, so it's really cool how their option that they choose, every single one can have a different destination, and then they continue on to the very end of it. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and same thing with English, you know, if they choose a certain option in English, if they choose the wrong answer and you might know why they would have chosen that answer, then you can jump them up to something different, revert them back to something else. You can get really, really creative with all of this stuff. Do y'all have any questions so far? No questions, I guess. Okay, well, I'll just show you guys a little more information over here. The navigation pane, this is where you would start the screen. I would always suggest having a title and then any kind of details that you would want in your end screen. You might have certain things that you want on there. Now the scoring options, you will choose one of these, but I would wait to choose them. And this is something that we'll go into too right now. So let's say I'm finished with my branching scenario. I'm going to click proceed to save. So I went back. I'm not in preview mode or anything anymore. And this is what I want from my branching scenario. I'm clicking save. Now I'm ready to make this an actual assignment. Inside my content bank, I can see it listed with my other items now. So I'm going to go to the front of the course. My editing is turned on already. And I decide I want to add it into week 1. So I click add an activity. I'm going to click the blue H5P. Always remember, click the blue H5P icon. I'm going to name it BRTC Branching. This is where we're going to put our H5P content into. So click on the file, the add file, and click on content bank. And here's my H5P content bank. So I'm going to click BRTC. You can either make a copy of the file, which means it's just a copy inside that assignment. If you go to your content bank, it won't make the changes. So all in all, I would suggest creating an alias or shortcut to the file. That way, if you're making changes in your content bank, it's going to also make those changes in the assignment, which is really cool too. So click create an alias, select this file, and you have your same options here as you do your regular assignments. So your H5P options, your grade, your attempt options, okay, everything, restrict access, activity completion, same thing as always with your other H5P stuff. So that would be adding the assignment. And now your students are ready to go. So I'm in display preview mode. I guess it won't let me because I'm a student. No, it's loading. So just as we saw before, we can start it and go through it. So I wanted them to look through this. There's my mascot video, and I have my first branch. Here's my my third video. I got it wrong, so I have to start all the way over with the mascot reveal. Okay, and that's the end of the lesson. Any questions about anything that we've gone over? Did I go too fast? Does it make sense or does it not make sense? You guys tell me.
How do I add that branching with text in a quiz?
Okay, so how do you go to let me go back to my content bank and go into edit that. So you're asking how do you add a text to it?
Yes. Or in between texts, actually.
Okay, say that again.
I want them to read text and then answer questions based on the text.
Okay, so I just add the untitled text in here. So I'm just going to say text 1. Put any of the information. I'll put my notes in there. How about that? So I've got my notes from this. Okay, done. So I can see it here. And then you would add a branching question to it about that text.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes. I wouldn't want them to revert to anything if it was a quiz, because I should be able to allow wrong answers for a quiz, of course.
Okay,
And
so in that instance, you would have all of the options. Oh, okay, well, what? What am I just?
Maybe I could use this for like a final exam study guide.
Sure, right. Yeah, so if you're wanting them to learn everything on there, then it would revert them back. But all you would have to do is branch them to another branch and choose the same branch if you wanted
Okay.
them to continue on.
To review that text that they just read and try that question again.
Right. So, and like you
Okay.
said, if it was a quiz and you didn't want them to jump back to anything, that's what I was saying. You would choose to jump them all to the next branch instead of going back to the previous one.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want them to have to go all the way up to the beginning every time.
Right, right. And that's the good thing about it, because you can choose to go right back to that same branch. So if
Okay.
they go in here and edit, and something's going on with the question. So Q1, then we've got Q2. So we've got 3 answers here, Q3. So Q1 is the correct one. So we want them to jump to another branch. Okay, let me see if I'm understanding what you mean. So you mean you want them to just redo this question?
Yes, like reread that text that question was based on.
You wouldn't want them to go back up to here. You were just wanting them to redo the question?
Well, okay, let's say there's paragraph 1 and then there's questions. There's a question based on paragraph 1, but
Right.
they get it wrong. I would want them to go back and reread paragraph 1
Yes.
and try to answer it again.
Yes, and you would be able to go in there and choose that option in here with the branches. You could choose all the branches. Whenever you select a branch to jump to, all the branches are going to be in this drop-down menu.
Okay, I got
So you
that.
would choose it in there. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it really would be ideal for a study guide. That would be a really good way to use it. And then it would make the study guide really easy to make. If you use H5P in your course anyway, then it would be super quick to.
I don't.
Well,
I have very little in there.
Yeah.
I
a lot
tried
of people don't.
I tried to do like flashcards or something.
Yeah.
And I didn't quite know what I was doing because there hadn't been any training on it yet. And
Right.
I don't think I got it. I don't think it worked very well.
We have several people who do use the flashcards, and they've just kind of all had to get used to it and learn it themselves. We're hoping we can do, even more H5P training, because it's just endless, the possibilities with this are. But when you get used to it, like I said, it would be really ideal for a study guide, because you could just add all the stuff you already have, push it in there, and continue on or don't continue on throughout the branches and what you decide. So yeah.
Okay, well, I wouldn't have been able to use those flashcards anyway because they were for week 1 and that content isn't on the final anyway. So
Right. Gotcha.
I'll have to start from scratch.
Gotcha. Yeah. Do you have any other questions?
Is there any way to add an image to that text box? Like, I know you can do a text or you can do an image. Can I do a combination?
Okay. So, well, I think maybe you would do an image and then you would have text with it.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Is there any way, click on that text box. Can I do the math equation stuff in that? Like the little square root box? It doesn't have any of that, does it?
No, it didn't open up an actual, when I clicked in here, all I have is that bar.
Okay. What about on the normal text? Does it have any of the?
On the what? I'm sorry.
You're on the image.
Oh,
one.
okay. Okay.
If I go back to the text and edit it,
it just has a text box. Oh, wait.
Jessica, that's usually in the special characters on your computer.
No, like I need to be able to type a fraction in a fraction format, and it's
got it.
Right.
It's a little different. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been working in lessons in my math for healthcare class. I create lessons, and it's really similar to this. But you know, I get what you're saying about the user friendliness for the teacher. It's hard to be able to get back into that lesson to see what the students have done.
Right. I have a
So,
lot, and a couple of people who do a lot of lessons too, they say they have to like write it all out on paper to
Yeah.
keep all of it straight when they're doing it too.
Yeah.
And here you can just see it all laid out, which I really
Yeah.
thought was awesome. But the math thing, you know, on your Moodle, Jessica, did you change your text box to the alternative text box? I forget what it's called.
No,
I'm
I didn't.
wondering,
It's just, it's
I'm
in all
wondering
of
if
them.
you can change your text box here to a different text box. I don't know. That'd be a good question to ask.
Yeah, because on mine, it just like up there with the bold and italicized and all that stuff where you can select those, there's a square root button
Yes.
that will bring up math editor or something and let me
Right.
be able to type my fractions. That I
Yeah.
need, whatever.
Now, I mean, you could always get them typed out and then just screenshot, you know, a picture of it. Of
Yeah.
course, you know, a lot of our the nursing instructors is who I saw really using the branching scenario, and a lot of theirs were pictures with text. And then the
Yeah.
next video, or I'm sorry, the next branch would be a video, and then they would be tested on that material. And
Right.
if they didn't get that right, of course, it would jump them back to the beginning.
Mhm.
But I would really like to see how somebody would take each answer and not necessarily, you know, if they get it wrong, not necessarily just jump them back to the beginning, but maybe jump them over to an alternative piece that might
Yeah,
help them.
a little tutorial.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. I think that would be really cool.
Mhm.
Any other questions? Just, did this help you guys at least get a little introduction of what to do when you get in here,
Yeah.
and how to do the content bank at least?
Yeah, I like that.
Okay, well, if you guys have any, I tried to keep this around 30 minutes. I didn't want to go too far after that. So do you guys have any more questions before I kind of wrap up?
No, I think you're good.
Okay. All right, well, if you run into something and you forget, or you have another question about it or want to dig into it deeper even, definitely call us and let us know. We'd love to sit down and look at what you've got and what you've been doing with everything. So email us or call us and stop by our offices even.
Thank you, Holly.
All right, thank y'all so much. Y'all have a great day.
You too.
Thank you.